Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the FIFA Flow podcast. Welcome to season 3, episode 36 of the podcast. Today, guys, we got a banger podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the first leg of the first 4 teams of the the first 8 teams of the Champions League round of 16, guys. So, juicer games right there. We got some Europa League game. We got a Europa League game I want to talk about as well. It was a big game as well, huge game. Of course, Manchester United versus Barcelona. We got Ligue 1 regarding Paris Saint-Germain, the Premier League regarding Liverpool and Arsenal and United yet again in the Premier League. And then I don't think we'll talk about La Liga today. And then yeah, not much news either, as you guys can see on the screen here. Only 2 Twitter news I want to talk about regarding Paris Saint-Germain, the best club in the world. Guys, yeah, today is my birthday as well, so I guess happy birthday to me, 18. So pretty exciting for me. But yeah, guys, let's just get right into it. Let's start off with the Champions League, as that was happening last week, and then make some predictions for the games upcoming this week. So tomorrow and then Wednesday as well, to finish off the first leg. Guys, I'm hoping that this Friday we will be doing a either Friday or Thursday we'll be doing a podcast featuring Gareth yet again, talking about the first leg of the round of 16 of the Champions League, and then kind of summing up, like kind of not so, I guess kind of like reviewing each team, each of the games, and then kind of making a prediction based off of the team, not just in the Champions League, not just in the first leg, but just in general, talking about the team, like a review of the team to make a prediction for the second leg and see who makes it on to the quarterfinals. So that's gonna be happening either Thursday or Friday. But yeah, that is that. Let's get right into it. Let's start off. We already talked about the PSG game, so I won't be talking about this. If you guys want to go watch the PSG video, make sure you go watch it. It's over here on the channel. I had to have a separate video kind of responding to all this social media criticism on PSG after a horrendous game we had. But fair play to Bayern. Yeah, so let's get right into it. AC Milan and Spurs, guys. Of course, man. Spurs bottling it yet again. I mean, I feel like AC Milan are a bit slept on now. Don't look at the stats. The stats made show like 11 shots against 9, 3, and then like possession wise and passing wise. I mean, yeah, I guess Harry Kane, he had a few good shots. Perisic, kind of a baller. He's an underrated baller, man. Emerson, though, man, this guy here, literally. So what happens is Spurs, they go sign Pedro Porro. You already know, João Felix rival. If you know, you know. They go sign Pedro Porro, the Spanish right wing back from Sporting, and then in the game, in the UCL game, Emerson, man, this guy turns into freaking prime Roberto Carlos. I'm like, what the heck? It's like they make. He's like, oh, let me just be like one of these like 0 mil, like a free agent type player. Like I'm not worth anything. Let Spurs waste their money, not waste their money, but let them use some money on Pedro Porro on a backup for me, or like on a replacement, and then I'll turn into prime Carlos Alberto or Roberto Carlos, and and then Pedro Porro will now be the backup instead of the replacement. You get what I mean? So man, Emerson, fair play to him. As I said, yeah, I think Spurs did decent, but man, you can't sleep on AC Milan. They have some ballers out there, of course. Rafael Leao killing it. Olivier Giroud, of course, you know what he did with France in the World Cup. Brahim Diaz as well. He's also a low key baller. I'm pretty sure he's on loan there as well. Brahim Diaz. I'm pretty sure he's on loan to AC Milan, and it's actually there's a rumor of him actually wanting to go back, or not him wanting to go back, but Real Madrid wanting him to come back to Madrid since of his I guess his recent what do you call it? His recent experience. Is that the word I'm looking for? His recent evolution, bro. This is not Pokemon. What am I talking about? His recent games, his recent, I guess, form, on because of his recent form, him doing really good. So watch out for him, young star. So watch out for him. Of course, as I said, a lot of ballers. Theo Hernandez, honestly, when everyone said Mbappe carried France in the World Cup, I was like, Theo Hernandez is getting some mad disrespect, some mad slept on, because I felt like Theo Hernandez he was a key player, especially in the attack as well, not just in the defense. I think he did make a few mistakes, like that penalty he gave against who was it, against England. I mean, luckily Harry Kane. Was it the first one? I think it was the second one where Harry Kane mooned it. He shot it to the moon, skied it. But other than that, I think Theo Hernandez was one of France's key players. So when people said France were carried by Mbappe, maybe it was a bit exaggerated, but at the same time, I felt like Theo Hernandez was slept on in the World Cup. I think he was a key player, not only in the defense, but the runs he made in the attack, the crosses, as I said, the runs to get in behind and cut inside to either Giroud, Griezmann, Mbappe was pretty good. So yeah, of course, and world class, not only national level, on club level as well for AC Milan, for a top team. Um, this guy here, is this the Belgium guy? No, this is not the Belgium guy. But yeah, they do have that. Did he play as well? Yeah, this guy, the Ketelary. He's having a pretty decent season as well so far. So, I mean, I don't mind this, but I feel like his dribbles and stuff, when he does get the opportunity to play, his dribbles, his playmaking, not the worst. As I said, yeah, Tonali, I think he's a pretty underrated, not underrated, but like he's a rising star, and like in the next CDM, like he could be. I feel like I honestly, I really do feel like a lot of Serie A players are a bit like slept on from other leagues. I feel like Ligue 1, La Liga, mainly Premier League, because of course you already know the Premier League is literally the Super League with the amount of inflation and money and stuff they have. It's literally the Super League. Um, and as I said, I think the Premier League is not only like a football game of physicality, but I feel like it's more of a business. Whereas the La Liga maybe is like more they're focusing on the football. And I think same with the Serie A. It's not mainly the business. I think Premier League is mainly about the business. But of course, you already know they also have some of the best games with the best teams and best players. So, but I think the reason they have the ability to get the best teams or the best players is because of them focusing on the business to get this money, and for that reason, inflation happens within football within the footballing market. So yeah, I feel like just in general, Serie A players a bit slept on. As I said, yeah, fair play to AC Milan. We go on to the next set of two games of the four games with Club Brugge and Benfica. I did not watch this, but I did expect Benfica to win. Of course, we already know how crazy like not just Benfica, but how crazy these Portuguese team, as I like to say, PP, Portuguese passion, man. The Portuguese passion is on a different level. I mean, last year we did have some Villarreal passion, and as I always like to say, I feel like every year, not just every year, I feel like in every tournament you always have this underdog team. Of course, in the World Cup, you can say, I mean, who would you say it's in the World Cup? 2018 was for sure Croatia, and then unexpectedly, like they got to the final. I think this year we did also expect the same thing with a lot of ballers, especially in the midfield. Brozovic, Modric, Kovacic. I did not expect Croatia to make it that far. I actually expected them to make it that far because the ballers they had, how much experience they got since 2018. And then they made it to the final in 2018 as well. So you have to believe, like, if you're making it to the final, surely you do something good in the next year. I mean, there was also the World Cup curse, not only for there's also the World Cup curse, not for the runners up, but for the winners of the previous World Cup, and yet again France went to the final. So I'm not gonna say like, I mean, the World Cup curse, it has been like it's been an effect on a lot of crazy teams like Spain and stuff. But the thing with like teams like Brazil getting the World Cup curse, and or actually no, Brazil broke the World Cup curse. But the thing with like Spain and Germany getting all these World Cup curses is because when they, like back in 2014 when Germany won the World Cup, in 2018 the reason they got knocked out so early is because it's not because of the curse. I would say, like, yes, you can say there's a curse, but it's because half of their players from 2014 were either retired or old. You got Schweinsteiger, not Khan, what's his name? Lam. You got Schweinsteiger, Lam, Balak, and stuff. These guys are either all retired or they were old, so that's why they didn't have that experience. The thing with the France team, the reason why France went back-to-back finals, other than like the reason they broke the World Cup curse is because with France is yes, like some of the players are a bit old, like you see Varane retiring now, Hugo Lloris retiring, and stuff, but other than those two players, or those few players, there's very few players. There's a lot more talent in this French team. Of course, Mbappe, the best player in the world. Theo Hernandez, what's his name? Um, Konate, who's the Upamecano. So there's a lot more younger, experienced players coming from the 2018 to the 20. Like they were young in 2018. They got through the 4 years. They got more experience. And then now in 2022, they went to the final because they got more experience. They were a young team. It's not like Germany, like in 2014, where they had some prime players like in their 30s, and then in 2018, half of their players were retired or old, so they had like no one to kind of put that effort in to get past the group stage. So that's what I'm trying to say. But going back, I had to say all of that. I had to explain all of that. That every World Cup, not World Cup, but every tournament, there's an underdog. So yeah, as I said, in 2018, Croatia. In 2022, you can say, I mean, who? Japan. I think Japan was the underdog 100%. Morocco as well. Morocco, of course, making history. The first African team to the semifinals. And then for the UCL, in 2019, you already saw it with Ajax, man. That Ajax team in 2019, different. Delict, what's his name? Delict, De Jong, Hakim Ziyech, man. Like that team, bro, different gravy, as Aguero likes to say. He's a different gravy. But yeah, and then in 2021, I would say you had to go to Porto. And then last year Villarreal, and now this year it has to be Benfica, and maybe Porto again. Porto do have a strong team. I think they always have a strong team, and arguably they also have the Persian R9 guys, as I like to say. Mehdi Taremi, of course. I'm Persian, so you already know the Persian R9. Love to see it. Love to see it. But in jokes aside from like him being Persian, man, last year I think he was in the top 5 or top 6 of the top UCL goals slash assists, like in UEFA Champions League. So I mean, no doubt, I'm not saying it because of the Persian, but I'm saying it because of how good of a striker he is. And I think, man, this guy has killed it for Porto. He's actually been killing it for Porto. I mean, how's he doing this season? Taremi 2/23 stats. If we check out his stats for Porto. I mean, let's take a look. Let's honestly take a look because, man, Porto, man, they're killing it. Killing it. So this year, is this year? 2022/23, 34 games, 20 goals, 11 assists. In the Champions League, 5 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. Man, this guy's different. A different gravy. The Persian R9, as I like to say. The Persian R9. But yeah, that is Benfica. So yeah, Benfica, yet again, from the group stages, been killing it against Paris Saint-Germain. They gave us a tough time against us. I mean, who else was it? Against Juve as well. They beat Juve, I think, both games as well. And then, of course, there's no doubt they had to win this. David Neres coming from Ajax yet again. João Mario, pretty good midfielder. He scored that penalty. So yeah, Gonzalo Ramos, you already know from the World Cup, that hat trick. But yeah, overall, yeah, pretty good game for Otamendi. This guy's pretty good. Grimaldo, the Spanish. So yeah, pretty good for Benfica. I didn't like. It was expected. That's what I'm trying to say. And then, guys, Chelsea and Dortmund, guys, 4 games. Even in the Premier League, didn't Chelsea lose this week? Chelsea didn't even play. No, they lost. Man, I think it's 5 games now. 5, bro. It's still glitch. 5 games. since the January transfer window. And in the January transfer window, they spent around almost 400 million. They bought Modric, Enzo Fernandez, Batshuayi. Who else did they get? Batshuayi, Jean-Felix Loan. I mean, yeah. Let's just take a look here. They got some other like players who are on the bench and stuff. Um, but man, they buy all these players, and it's 5 games since then, 5 or 6 games, and they still haven't won. Not even a draw. I don't think they've drawn either. Have they drawn? Maybe they've drawn. I think they drew last week. Yeah, they did drew last week, so I didn't remember that. But they haven't won a single game. Only one draw in the last 5 or 6 games since the January transfer window. 5 or 6 games, and only one of the like, if it's 6, then 5 of them were a win. Only one of them they drew. If it was 5, then like I think they only drew 1 from either 5 or 6. The other rest were all losses. Man, they suck. Man, they suck. And man, fair play to Borussia Dortmund. I did not expect that from Borussia Dortmund. Jude Bellingham, baller out there. Adeyemi though, man, this guy literally flew past 100 million euros, man, aka Enzo Fernandez, man. This guy literally sprinted past him, went near post, brilliant goal. The touch he got on the ball, the through ball sent to him, beautiful, beautiful by Adeyemi. And as I said, he just flew by. Enzo Fernandez, man, what are you doing, man? Like, put some pressure on him. He's just like following him. He's leaving the near post open and stuff. Like, holy Koulibaly, Thiago, like, man, yeah, Thiago Silva and stuff. You're good and all, like, for your age and stuff, but like at the same time, man, you're kind of finished. You're a bit too old, man. Koulibaly. I will note that this was the first time I did see Kai Havertz actually play as a good striker, man. No doubt, no doubt. Kai Havertz doing something for once, pace and pounce. Of course, he played and gets a yellow card. The only question I have here, like, man, they have Zakaria and stuff. I feel like Zakaria, he's a baller, man. He's a baller, especially when he first started, when he first came to Chelsea, back last summer under Tuchel as well. I feel like if he had gotten more playing time, I guarantee you he would have been a baller. N'Golo Kante, I'm pretty sure he's still injured, so yeah, I feel like N'Golo Kante, maybe that's a huge factor as well. I haven't seen Conte for a while. Is he injured for that much? I swear he was injured before the World Cup. And that was back in November, the near the mid-November, end of November, and he's still injured for 3 months. But yeah, those are the first 4 Premier League games. Tomorrow we got Liverpool, Real Madrid. You already know from the final last year. Eintracht Frankfurt and Napoli, RB Leipzig, Man City, and then Inter and Porto. So before we get off the Champions League for today and then go on to league games, let's just take a look here. So I predicted PSG to beat Bayern, and you already know that is not happening. I was gonna say like, oh, maybe Neymar's gonna cook something and stuff, but yeah, that is completely false. Maybe I could see PSG. I mean, we'll talk about the second leg. Oh, we have to make Europa League predictions because Europa League is this Thursday. It's not every 2 weeks. It's every week. I'll explain how the Europa League works after. But yeah, for the PSG first leg, for the second leg, we'll make predictions after. We'll make predictions for the second leg with Garit. But for the so PSG, that is incorrect. So I'll just say wrong. Yeah, so this one I really said, oh no, I thought I was like, yeah, so this one is correct. Benfica, yeah, that was not a surprise at all, so correct. And yeah, I really thought Chelsea, man, I thought they would do it, but yeah, Borussia Dortmund, too good. So now we have Liverpool. But I don't know, Madrid, man, they have quite a few players injured, don't they? They have like both of their fullbacks are injured. I mean, Liverpool have they been doing good? I feel like recently, man, like the game they had this weekend was pretty good. So, as I said, Real Madrid have a few injured players as well that could affect them. I mean, man, you can't sleep on the Madrid comeback, man. The Madrid merchant scoring after the 80th minute towards the end of the game. So I think I'll have to go with Madrid to win this. And then Frankfurt, Napoli. Now, I'm gonna say something here. I will go ahead and put Napoli to win. I will go ahead and put Napoli to win. But what I will say here might be a bit outrageous. I'm not gonna be surprised if Frankfurt win. I will be honest. I feel like Frankfurt, man, they smoked it last year in the Europa League, won the Europa League. They were on fire last season in the Europa League. So maybe it's not the best in the Bundesliga. I think they're 6th in the Bundesliga, or maybe 7th now. But man, I'm really not gonna sleep on Frankfurt. I'm not gonna say like Frankfurt have no chance against this god Napoli team who are on fire this season. They are on fire. Kvaradona, as I like to say, Osimhen, Raspadori, what's his name? Di Lorenzo. I mean, whoever else they have. But I'm really not gonna. I'm not gonna sleep on Frankfurt, man. They killed it last season in the Europa League, won the Europa League as well. So, won't sleep on Frankfurt. So that's what I'll put. So I will go ahead and kind of let you guys know about that. Leipzig, RB Leipzig. No chance. No chance. I think City will go ahead and win that, man. And when it comes to Champions League, they'll probably put in more passion as well. I mean, RB Leipzig, man, Guardiola, he's a huge what's it called? A huge a huge transfer target for a lot of Premier League teams as well. Klosterman, I mean, who else do they have? They have some ballers, man. They really do have some ballers. Nkunku, Andre Silva, as I said, Guardiola, this guy here, whatever, Timo Werner, Dani Olmo, Diallo, of course, my PSG goat, Konrad Laimer, good CDM, David Raum, yeah, I forgot about him. Who's that right back? Don't they have a right back? Is this their right back? I swear, I was thinking Campbell. Oh yeah, I forgot about Campbell. Yeah, I mentioned Klosterman. Haidura, is that how you say it? So they do have some pretty good players. So maybe a draw, but I mean, as I said, when it comes to the Premier League, when it comes to the Europa League, man, or when it comes to the Champions League, and especially with Pep, man, he's gonna go crazy. So I think City will win there, and then Inter and Porto. Now Porto, as I said, the PP, the Portuguese passion. They have the Persian R9 who's killing it this season. We just saw him earlier in the video. I'm gonna go ahead and say a draw. I will say a draw, but I'll say a slight, a close win for Inter. In fact, for Inter, I will say a close win for Inter. Although it's gonna be very difficult. Like when I say close win, I mean they're gonna have to get like some sort of luck or something. I think Porto will not make it easy for Inter if Inter do win it. But at the same time, I'm also gonna say I won't sleep on Porto. I'm not saying Porto are bad. I'm saying it's gonna be. I'm saying Inter on paper. Of course, I think Inter win it. But and yeah, as I said, the PP, the Portuguese passion, they got the Persian R9 as well. So it's gonna be very difficult. A close win for Inter. I'm not sleeping on Porto either. It's gonna be very hard. Porto will make it a hard win for Inter Milan. But yeah, that is the Champions League predictions there for you. As I said, this Thursday or Friday, we will come back to the Champions League and talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about the Europa League and then go to the league games. Guys, we had some killer Europa League games, starting off with Barcelona and Manchester United. What a freaking game this was, guys. Marcus Rashford start. No, he didn't start things off. Marcus Alonso. Was this off of the corner? Was this off of the corner? I'm pretty sure Marcus Alonso in the 50th minute. We go to the Rashford, beautiful goal, through ball into from Rashford, bangs it in behind, into the back of the net. Rafinha, man, this one was pretty good. He's out here. He does with his left foot, gets it in, and it's actually Lewandowski. Oh no, here, it's Lewandowski who tries to get a back heel from the back of him, to make it go far post. But I think that also kind of like, yes, he missed it. So Lewandowski, not Lewandowski. If you know, you know. Lewandowski. Small game Robert. Small game Robert, as my cousin says. Yeah, he missed because he's a small game player. And yes, he missed. I'm not gonna say like he's bad, but at the same, I'm not gonna say it's good that he missed, or I'm not gonna say it's. What am I trying to say here? I'm not gonna say that he's a good player. He's a bad player because he missed. Because at the same time, it also helped Barcelona score because I think De Gea didn't expect that, and then it went in and past De Gea far post. So banger goal for Rafinha, I think. Yeah, Lewandowski, if he touched it, could have messed up. And then yeah, Jules Koundé also getting the own goal. This was last Thursday, man. I don't remember anything, but yeah, crazy game here. Actually, let me just check something real quick. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, crazy game here. Both teams, you could say, were robbed. Jules Koundé, man, he should have gotten a red card for sure on Marcus Rashford. He like tripped Marcus Rashford. Like, yes, he wasn't the last man back and stuff, but man, like even though he wasn't the last man back, the other players are like back here. So technically, you can say he's the through on goal afterwards. So like, that should 100% have been a red card. There was also a handball. There should have been a handball against the United, so it would have been a penalty for Barcelona. But man, the VAR, not just in this Barcelona United game, just in general, the last week, even like I think like last week in Champions League as well. I'm pretty sure. Don't quite remember which team it was. Was it Spurs that got robbed? I'm not quite. I'm not. I don't quite remember, but it could have been Chelsea. I think they were robbed or something from due to VAR. But yeah, VAR, man, of course. Man, either sometimes VAR is good, but I feel like the football would be so much better without VAR. Like, at least it doesn't make it seem like with VAR you have to get it correct. If there isn't VAR, at least you can say like, oh, I didn't, like, I don't know, like maybe you can say, oh, it's a very close call, and it was a very close call, and then the ref just made the wrong decision, but it was just so close that he needed more he didn't have enough information. With VAR, you're getting every single inch, every millimeter of information for a penalty, and you're still getting it wrong. So yeah, that is a crazy game here. Yeah, I didn't really talk much about the United game and Barca game because, man, gonna be honest, I kind of forgot about it. Not forgot about, like, it's been a week, guys. It's been a week. Just I have a lot of homework as well. So you're complaining, no ball knowledge, you could say. Salzburg and Roma. Okay, so Jose Mourinho, man, where are you? Best coach in the world? Come on, man, you can't be doing that stuff. But yeah, I think Roma will come back. I predict Roma will come back. Ajax and Union Berlin, guys. Unfortunately, I slept on Union Berlin. Look at them. Finally, they're making the Bundesliga interesting. I mean, either way, if Dortmund, Union Berlin, and Bayern end up with the same amount of points towards the end of the season, there's no ways in any universe that Bayern will be under a goal difference, like under these two teams. With plus 40 goal difference, there's no ways they're going to drop down. So even if Dortmund somehow get the same amount of points as Bayern will still win on goal difference. So, but other than that, it's still pretty impressive that Borussia Dortmund and Union Berlin, man. Union Berlin, they drew this weekend, so they did bottle it to try to get ahead. But I think next weekend, we do have Bayern and Union Berlin. So if Union Berlin do somehow manage to beat Bayern, we're gonna see Bayern dropping from the table. So finally, man, the Bundesliga cooking. As I always like to say, for the past 10 years or 11 years, Bayern have won the Bundesliga 10 years or 11 years in a row. So for that reason, yes, you guys can call the league on a Farmers League. I'm fine with that, but the Bundesliga is even more than the Farmers League. Like, we are the farmers, they are the farm. They are the farm. We are the farmers. They are the farm. You could say. So, um, so yeah. But yeah, with this, guys, now you could maybe there's the league on it is. I honestly I don't know. Would I say the league on is still a farmers league? Man, like PSG, like yes, we have all the world class players and stuff, but like Mbappe, Messi, and we're still losing. But you can't say we have the best team in the world. Yes, we have some of the best players: Mbappe, Neymar, Hakimi, Lionel Messi. But at the same time, the rest it doesn't mean because we have those five best players in the world that we should be the best team in the league. Like the other players also need to be good, and it's not just that. There needs to be some connection within the team that we don't have. So, like I feel like Monaco, or like honestly, man, Monaco, the passion that they have, too good, too good. Um, but yeah, Union Berlin, man, making the and Dortmund making the Bundesliga look pretty good, making it look pretty good. But yeah, with that being said, I did kind of sleep on Union Berlin, and to be honest, I don't know what to expect for the second leg. Shakhtar Donetsk and Rennes, I did expect Shakhtar to go through because, of course, they've played in the Champions League against Real Madrid in the group stage for 3 UCL seasons group stages in a row. So, I mean, I think they're a pretty slept on team. I mean, they didn't do bad against Madrid. Yes, they might have lost and stuff. I think they beat them one time within the 6 games in the past 3 years. They beat them once. Pretty impressive still, but yeah, Sevilla and PSV. I mean, Sevilla finally killing it. Sporting, yeah, this was just random. Nantes, Juventus, and then actually, let's talk about Leverkusen and Monaco. Man, so over here we have a Hardeki own goal. I didn't see the goals, but what I will say, guys, Moussa Diaby, Florian Wirtz, brilliant players. I saw some of the highlights, and man, I feel like Wirtz, man. I mean, a few seasons ago, like last season or 2 seasons ago, Florian Wirtz was becoming a bit more of a known player. Moussa Diaby as well, killer baller. But then on Frimpong, of course, you already know the Dutchman, the youngster, Hincape, Hardeki, the Finnish goalkeeper. But yeah, so they go ahead, score their goals, but then guys, Diata, and Diasa, Disaisi. I'm butchering these names hard. But yeah, then comes the Monaco comeback. As I said, the passion from Ben Yedder, from I don't know who else do they have. From Ben Yedder, Voland. Yes, he didn't play. Justin Martins, but like still in the pitch, man. Ismail, is this Ismail, guys? No, he's a different Ismail. There's another Ismail in the league on Nubel, man. This guy's killing it on loan from Bayern to Monaco, man. If Monaco keep Nubel, man, I think he's a great goalkeeper for Monaco. Aguilar, Enrique, both the Brazilians. Youssef Fofana, this guy, man. I feel like as a PSG fan, we have to get Youssef Fofana. He's a killer player. Maybe some La Liga or Prem teams might look up for him as well. Like maybe United, Golovin, Embolo. Yeah, as I said, Diata, Kamara from RB Leipzig. In fact, killer loan. Is he on loan or did he go from from Salzburg? Is he from Salzburg? Might be from Salzburg. Oh, from Salzburg. Okay, no, so it's a purchase. It's a transfer. Brilliant transfer. I feel like him and Kamara, him and Youssef Fofana, brilliant midfield from Monaco. I mean, yes, I'm a PSG fan, but man, Monaco, man, the passion. Just because of Ben Yedder, man. I love Ben Yedder. FIFA rat. I'm a FIFA rat. But with that being said, yeah, we didn't really talk about the Europa League games. I just watched a few of the highlights, but yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and make some predictions for the second leg predictions. And if you guys don't know how the Europa League works, So what it is, as you can tell, both the Europa League and the Champions League have group stages around the same time, during the same time. But how this works is there's 8 groups, of course, like the Champions League. The top 2 qualify. The first place gets an automatic qualification to the round of 16. But the second place team is randomly drawn with a team that placed 3rd place in the group stages of the Champions League. And then with that, then they play. So the 3rd place group in the Champions League versus the 2nd place group in the Europa League play each other, and then the outcome of these teams here. So as you can see, Leverkusen they were 3rd in their group from the Champions League. Juventus, Sevilla, Sporting, Shakhtar, Ajax, Salzburg, and Barcelona. They were all qualified. They all played in the Champions League group stage, but they got 3rd place, so they get matched with the 2nd place Europa League group stage team, and then these winners then go on to get matched with a random team from the Europa League who matched 1st place in their group. So it can be like Arsenal. Who else is there? Arsenal, French-Bar, Real Madrid, Union Saint-Germain. Is this Union Saint? Oh no, Paris Saint-Germain. But then yeah, that's how it works. Real Sociedad, Feyenoord. This Bundesliga team. So yeah, then they get placed with those teams there. With that being said, let's go ahead. So this is going to be the prediction to qualify for the round of 16 to then match someone who placed 1st place in the Europa League group stages. So predictions here. Let's go just ahead and copy this. So first off, we start with RB Salzburg and Roma. Also, let's go ahead here. Incorrect. And yeah, I was correct about this. Incorrect. Correct. Damn, I was incorrect here, man. PSV were killing it in the Eredivisie League, and then all of a sudden, I wasn't sleeping on. Sevilla, they were doing pretty bad. When I made this predictions, Sevilla were only starting to come back from the relegation zone because they were doing pretty bad. So now I guess that booster up is kind of getting more up there. The Sporting win? No, they actually drew somehow. Oh, yeah, the Monaco comeback 1-0 up. Leverkusen pull it back 2-1, and then Monaco ended off scoring 2 more goals to make it 3-2. So pretty bad loss for Leverkusen. An own goal as well. So, but man, Xabi ball, not Xavi, Xabi Alonso, man. This guy carried Leverkusen. I mean, what are Leverkusen? Aren't they like 8th in the Bundesliga standings? Bruh, can't see here. Bayern or no? What are Leverkusen? 10th. They were 8th earlier in the league, but still, from bringing them from 19th place in the 17th place in the relegation zone back to almost 8th or 10th place is pretty insane. Xabi Alonso ball, love to see it. But yeah, Europa League predictions. Before we go to league games, I'm gonna go ahead and say Gavi is injured. Okay, now so let's start off here. I think that Roma will finally make their comeback. I doubt there's no ways that Jose Mourinho bottles this. They have a pretty decent team as well. Tammy Abraham and stuff. What's his name? Chris Smalling, or as I like to say, Smaldini. So I think it's gonna stay the same here. Barcelona and Madrid or United. I think Barca will lose. I mean, no Gavi, no Pedri. They're both injured. Pretty bad there. Ajax and Union Berlin. Honestly, I kind of slept on Union Berlin. Now I'm kind of like doubting myself. Maybe I'm saying, oh, like maybe I'm saying like, oh, Ajax just got unlucky this game. If we look at stats, I really don't like to look at stats. This is a meh prediction. See, I don't watch any of these teams here, Union Berlin or Ajax. I mean, I'll probably watch the Bayern Union Berlin game, but other than that, I don't watch any of these teams. And I didn't really watch this game either, so because of that, it's not really like, oh, like, do I really care if I get this right or wrong? So I'm just gonna say random. It's a random prediction based on recent game stats. And I don't really like being that stats merchant, guys. I like to say, like, yes, like maybe one team might have 75% possession, and the other might have 30. But if that 30 team can still play better than the 75% possession team, that might be because they move the ball better. Maybe they have better attack and stuff. So like I really don't like being the stat merchant. I'm really more of that game merchant. Like based off the game, the form of the game, not the stats. So, but this prediction here is unfortunately gonna be based on the stats. Shakhtar and Rennes, honestly, yeah, Shakhtar, man. I wouldn't really say it was a meh performance. I'll just say like, this was a meh one, but at the same time it was like, I'm not sleeping on Shakhtar. It's like I know a bit about Shakhtar. They had Madrid 3 seasons in a row in the Champions League group stages. So I mean, surely they have some experience there. Sevilla, I mean, no ways PSV bring it back. So that, I mean, did Sevilla, did they win their last La Liga game? Are they back? Or are Sevilla back, man? Are Sevilla back? They drew to Real Valencia as well. Pretty bad. Osasuna next. I think they're somewhat back. They have some good players, man. I'm a FIFA merchant with Sevilla. Papi Gomez, Alejandro Gomez. What's his name? Acuna. But yeah, with the 3-0 lead, there's no ways they bring it back. Sporting and this guy, like, man, see, this is a team I don't know, so I don't have any knowledge here. I don't have any knowledge, but I'm still gonna say Sporting. I'm just gonna based on what I know about the teams, like who are the bigger team. Juve and Nantes, they are a bit bottlers. Like this whole season, they've been bottling it, but at the same time, man, I might have to represent the Ligue 1, man. I might have to represent the Ligue 1 culture, guys. The Ligue 1 culture. So honestly, why not? Why not? But at the same time, I will say that I think Juve will win, but I have to represent my culture. Like if this was a bet, man, I have to represent the Juve or the Ligue 1 culture and probably put it on Nantes. But most likely, I think Juve are the favorites. That's what I'll say. Juve are favorites. They're the favorites to win. They're the favorites probably. And then Monaco, Leverkusen. I mean, Chabi Ball, Leverkusen, they weren't bad. They just made some pretty bad mistakes in that game specifically. Chabi Ball, but as I said, the Monaco passion. Don't sleep on. That's what I'll say. Don't sleep on Leverkusen, man. Come back. But yeah, those are some pretty good predictions there for me. That's gonna end off the Champions League and Europa League, guys. Quite a lot regarding those. Let's just talk about the league. Let's talk about the Premier League first, and then we'll head over to PSG, which also links up to the 2 Twitter newses we have as well. Guys, we had some killer games this weekend. Let's start. I want to talk about Newcastle, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Arsenal, and actually Aston Villa, Arsenal last. I want to talk about Newcastle, United, and then Aston Villa, Arsenal last. Let's start off here. Newcastle, Liverpool. Pretty good game, guys. And this is where I kind of get a mixed feeling about, like, oh, I think Madrid are the stronger team. But lately, Liverpool, I mean, it's not the worst. It's definitely not, I wouldn't say it's as good as Madrid. But they're getting there. They are getting there. They're getting back on their feet. Darwin Nunez, man, I mean, it's probably one of the worst touches I've seen. Over the top through ball. probably one of the worst touches. As I said, could have been a handball. Like he controls it and then it almost hits his hand or his face. But then he hits it right past Nick Pope. A good finish, of course, but the control, man, the touch, pretty bad. But other than that, fair play to Darwin Nunez. And then Cody Gakpo as well. In 20 minutes, they scored 2 goals. Fair play. Yeah, Cody Gakpo as well, killing it over there as well. I feel like, what game was it? Was it against Brentford? Was it? Like Cody Gakpo, he went crazy and stuff. And since that game, I think that was 2 or 3 games ago, or maybe 2 games ago. Since that game, man, Cody Gakpo, he has more confidence. That's what you can say. I feel like he's kind of, I feel like Cody Gakpo is really bringing that the movement in the final third of the pitch. He's moving the ball. He has that creative ability. He kind of drops back a bit, lets his midfielder go out wide. Darwin Nunez go middle, and then he goes to the wide. He crosses it in. Darwin Nunez scores, or like Salah or something like that. So that's what I like about Gakpo. He's kind of like a false 9, you can say. But yeah, really good dribbling. He has more confidence as well. Kind of, as I said, he's helping out the front in the final third. He's helping out in the final third. Guys, red card for Nick Pope, guys, for Nick Pope. I think it's a 2-match ban as well. And is a corner for Newcastle. And you already know, Liverpool are known for their counter-attacks. The Alisson Salah link up. If you know, you know. Alisson boots it up to Salah. Salah, he's on a run. It's Nick Pope who comes out of the box to try to cut off Salah, to get the ball from the counter attack. And then he goes down to header it, but the header just goes back out wide to Salah, which would have been a free goal. But then he headers it. He sees like, oh, it's going towards Salah. He uses his hands and brings it back to himself. Nick Pope, man, Nick Pope, brother, fam, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Pretty hilarious. But yeah, if you know, you know. Go search up like Salah. Go search up Alisson Salah link up plays or something, like counter attack plays, and they're known for that, and it's a very good counter attack for Liverpool as well. But yeah, as I said, Trent Alexander-Arnold's killer. I mean, if he played in the midfield, man, I always say this. I feel like a lot of coaches, they need to start playing. They are managers. A lot of managers need to start playing right backs in the midfield. Maybe not all. Like I wouldn't see Robertson in the midfield, but like someone like Trent, I would see in the midfield. Maybe Hakimi, maybe as a wide midfielder, like maybe in the right center mid, who still go up on the run, like over here. But I mean, midfield, I think right back is still good. He still goes up a lot, but then when he does go up, like who's gonna come back to drop? So at that point, you might as well put him at midfield and put someone else here instead. I mean, with the way that the Premier League tactics work, I guess it does make sense that even though he's still playing it as a fullback, almost every Premier League team, you see that all these fullbacks, they're like wing backs. They're like literally a right wing instead. But instead of as staying forward, like right wings usually do, they drop back instead. But yeah, I feel like even with that, I feel like Trent should still try out in the midfield. But yeah, pretty good game for Liverpool. Like as I said, I'm not a stats merchant, and yeah, Newcastle, statistically they're pretty good, but even like not statistically, I feel like generally they're pretty good. I mean, they have some good players as well. Isak, the Gucci Rat, FIFA. I'm a FIFA merchant with Alan Saint-Maximin. Almiron, I mean, he's had a pretty good season in the start of the season. Before the World Cup, he's been a killer. Even in January, I think he was doing pretty good. Kieran Trippier from Atletico de Madrid. Botman from Lille, I believe. He played at Lille last season. I mean, they have some good subs as well. Like Gordon, he's killing it. The center mid, Wilson. What happened to, what's his name? Bruno Guimaraes, man. What happened to Bruno Guimaraes? But maybe that's the reason they lost. They didn't have the Brazilian baller, Bruno Guimaraes. Killer in the midfield. Good on the ball, good off the ball, defensive awareness, like physicality, brilliant. But yeah, that is the Liverpool game. United Leicester, man. United. Literally. I said this from the first episode back from the World Cup. I told you guys. United, they had a good game. The first game back from the World Cup, they had a very good game. I said if United make some good signings, I mean, who did they sign? They even they signed Weghorst. I said if United make some good signings, and or not just signings, if United continues to play like how they did on the first game back from the World Cup, I think they would have a chance to be title contenders. And as you can see, they're not that far off. They're not that far off. Like if Arsenal lose their next two games and United win the next two, United might be able to go back into the top two. So I could see United come back and maybe get second. I can see them get. I could see. I mean, I don't know. Do I see Arsenal winning? I hope. My hope is that Arsenal. My wish is that Arsenal win the league, but at the same time, I could see. At the same time, I see that City and I think City will win. I think United will come back at second, and Arsenal will drop to third. They will still qualify for the Champions League, which is huge. I still see Arsenal qualifying for the Champions League, which is huge. And my hope is that they get first. But do I see them winning? I don't know. I mean, City, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, Arsenal. They've been killing it. They have the ballers. The same with City and United as well. Oh, it's very hard. It's very hard to tell. Maybe Arsenal win it. My wish is that Arsenal win it, but I have a doubt. Like there's something in me like telling me like that Arsenal like they might not bottle it and go completely out of the Champions League like qualification, but like not get first place. That's what I can see happening. But I mean, you never know. The miracle, Leicester City, 2015/16, the miracle. You need to believe. You just need to believe. But yeah, United guys killing it as well. As I said, title they could with the way they're playing recently, they could be title contenders. As this gets towards the final, like a few games of the last 3 games of the season, it will get intense. Like the games will matter, the points, every single point will matter. So, even right now, every point matters. But I feel like in the beginning of the season, it doesn't matter. It's not about how you start; it's about how you end. That's what you say. That is the saying. So yeah, United man threw ball in to Marcus Rashford yet again from Bruno Fernandes, who's a brilliant. He's been doing brilliant. He's really been doing brilliant. I feel like defensively, I feel like he's doing good. He's doing his job well to create is what you can say. This is their new creative players right now. Rashford is really good on the ball. Rashford is kind of he's not like Mbappe. I'm not going to compare him to Mbappe, but his technical ability is brilliant. I think it's brilliant, and that's what makes him so good. He's so good technically, and then his finishing as well, man. His finishing, he uses his technical ability to get a good percentage strike. He with his finishing as well makes it a higher percentage strike. He gets in the back of the net. And then the runs he makes, and then when he makes those those get in behind runs, Bruno Fernandes, the creative player, sends beautiful through balls, and that's how the first goal was created. A through ball in sent by Bruno Fernandes. Rashford hits it far post, brilliant goal. The second goal they had, 56th minute, it goes to Fred. Fred sends the through ball almost offside. I think initially it was called offside, but then they checked VAR. As I said, Rashford man sends it far post yet again. I think it was moments just before Rashford's second goal. He does some sort of step over. He does like a step over, and then I don't know. He does like a feint type thing. Goes to the right, around this guy, this midfielder here, and this center back or this right back and center back, and then gets a shot on goal. Good save by is it Danny? Isn't it Danny Ward? Yeah, Danny Ward. He used to play for Leicester, didn't he? Danny Ward. Or for Liverpool, yeah. He played for Liverpool. Leicester City. Oh, they're playing Leicester. What am I for some reason I was like, wait, are they playing? For some reason I thought they were playing a different team. I don't know. They are playing Leicester. What am I doing? But yeah, good save by Danny Ward. But that build up, the technical ability that Rashford had to even get that opportunity on goal, brilliant, brilliant. Like the step over, the feint. Man, this guy is killing it since the World Cup. He's played 17 games, I believe, and 16 goals, guys. So he's a killer. I think currently the the best players technically, like the technical ability. Number one, Mbappe. I'd say number two, I'd have to give it to Marcus Rashford, and then at number three, I'm gonna give it to Kvar at Napoli. For best finishers, I'm gonna say number one, Holland. Holland is not a technical player; he's more of a finisher, like someone who gets fed the ball, and then yes, maybe he makes like he does like a dribble around the player, but he doesn't do like a technical. He doesn't do like these like over like the step overs and stuff. That we'll talk about that in a moment when we get the PSG. Beautiful goal by Mbappe, but yeah, I think as a finisher, as more as a pure finisher, like their main job is to finish, not just make a technical ability like a creative like player like Mbappe, Rashford, and Kvar currently. But as a main finisher, Holland first. Probably. Do I say Osimhen second? I think Osimhen second, and then I don't know who would be third. Benzema third? Would it be Benzema third? I guess. Yeah, maybe Benzema third. Oh, Vinny. I have to put Vinny up in that. Maybe Vinny, and then Kvar at fourth. Man, Vinny's creative ability is crazy, man. Slept on. And I also want to talk about it, guys, before we go on. Man, Vinny, can we get some respect for Vinny, man? The amount of criticism and hate. I don't know. Is it because of his like? I don't want to be. I'm not saying this in a racist way. I'm actually saying this in a polite way. Like, is it because of his color? Like, because is it because like it's like this racism, man? It's just this man. Why should he be hated on, criticized? Is he? Maybe he's just better. He's just better, man. He is just better. He is him. But other than this, I want to give some respect to him. He shouldn't be getting all that hate. And even with the hate that he gets, he's still a killer. He's still a baller, game after game. Man, it was against was it against Cadiz this weekend? No, it was against Elche, I think, this weekend. They won 4-0, Real Madrid. And they were doing a 1 minute silence for the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And then they go ahead and they yell like something about Vinicius Jr., like something. They said like the F word towards Vinny or something. Like it's the amount of hate. But yeah, in terms of technical ability, Mbappe first, Rashford second, as we're talking about it here. Vinny third, I'd have to say Vinny third, and then Kvar fourth. In terms of a pure finisher, Holland first. What's his name? Holland first. Osimhen second, maybe Benzema third. Would I say Benzema? I mean, who else is there? Harry Kane? I think Harry Kane fourth. I think I'll put Harry Kane fourth. If I had to go fifth, maybe no, we're not going past fifth. But yeah, that is that. Yeah, and then yeah, so that's Rashford right there, and then Sancho does like a 1-2 type thing with he does like a 1-2 type thing with what's his name? Yet again, Bruno Fernandes, and then hits it far post. Brilliant first time, like. Oh no, please, no, get me off. I didn't want to get what's it called? Copyrighted. There might have been some copyright, but if we go back. Yeah, that is the United game, killing it. And then, guys, we have, let's end off the Premier League talks with Arsenal versus Aston Villa. And honestly, yes, Arsenal won. They didn't actually win it until the end. Let's talk about this goal. Let's talk about the game. Aston Villa, man, their first goal, starting it off. Brilliant goal. Threw a ball in to Ollie Watkins, the young English striker. Does a step over, bangs it with his left foot, far post, just past. Like there's no ways that Odegaard or any keeper, I would say, or not Odegaard, Ramsdale. I wouldn't say any keeper would save that. Brilliant finish, brilliant step over, brilliant move, like to get a past Saliba. As I said, the step over kind of made him drop back a bit, and then He had that room to go far post, and then, as I said, there's no ways with that finishing by Ollie Watkins, brilliant goal. And then in the 16th minute, Bukayo Saka, it's sent down. Who is it? Was it to Ben White? Ben White to the end of the box. He goes and tries to shoot it. Hits Martinez, goes back out wide, and brilliant volley by Bukayo Saka. Yeah, honestly, Bukayo Saka, man, killer. Nketiah, Trossard, Martinelli. I mean, honestly, the whole team, the whole Arsenal team, man, like they have some ballers out here. Like when I mean ballers, like they're as a team. As I said, in the I think the way that Arsenal play actually really reminds me of a team like La Liga play style. Like they play like this pass and go type of stuff. I mean, City could kind of play like that. I think City play that in a more physical manner instead. I don't know. I feel like the way that Arsenal do it though, it's just different. I mean, Arteta did grow up as a Barcelona fan, I believe. Played for Arsenal, of course. Scored honestly one of the best free kicks in Premier League history. Actually, no, that has to be Ronaldo, but in Arsenal history for sure. If you go watch it if you want, the knuckleball or like the curl, the not the curl. What was it? Was it like a knuckle type thing? Like the dip down on it was crazy. And then so I think for that reason, I think it's a manager reason why Arsenal play like a La Liga team. They kind of play like a La Liga team. They don't play really physically. I feel like they play this pass and go. They wait. They look for their options. They pass it there. They send a through ball. Like I think it's really good. I think Arsenal are like they are the one. I think they're a team that kind of play this La Liga type style in the Premier League. And it works out fine. It works out really good. And with the players they have, Ben White, Zinchenko, Trossard, Nketiah, Saka, Odegaard especially, coming from Madrid as well. He already knows that. Oh, sorry about that. He already knows that kind of tiki-taka stuff. It works out brilliantly. And then they have that Brazilian samba, the Portuguese samba, Fabio Vieira, Tomiyasu, the passion, the Japanese passion, in fact, from the World Cup, the samba from Gabriel Martinelli. And yeah, Bukayo Saka, brilliant volley to make it 1-1. And then the Coutinho goal to make it 2-1 before halftime. Brilliant goal, brilliant build-up from Arsenal, or from Aston Villa as well. It's Coutinho who no, was it Coutinho? I think it's Coutinho who passes it out wide to Kamara. Or it might have been Moreno. Let's just take a... No, we can't take a look. I don't quite remember. I think it was initially it was Coutinho over here and it was Moreno out wide. Coutinho, he makes a run. He passes it. He's like over here. He passes it out wide to Moreno. Moreno makes the run. Passes it to the top of the box where Coutinho is open. He passes it to the top here. And then it's this guy here. Is it this guy here? And he does a dummy through his legs, and it actually works perfectly. Saliba, he went to pressure. He didn't expect the dummy, and then Coutinho open, first time shot, and goes past the banger in the back of the net. Brilliant build up. It's like the dummy. He does like a one. He's out wide, sends it to the top. Coutinho makes his run to the top of the box, sends it. Moreno sends it into the top of the box where Coutinho is. It's a dummy, brilliant dummy, and then Coutinho, brilliant finish. The brilliant build-up. As I said, I think Aston Villa were a bit unlucky that they it was 8 minute at a time, or like 10 minute at a time, so that was very unlucky. Basically, like extra time. It was basically like another half of extra time. And I think because of that, I think Aston Villa just didn't have the stamina, the passion for it. They just lost it towards the end. But brilliant. Other than that, I think other than these two goals, as I said, it's probably stamina issue. They played really good throughout, for other than like towards the end of the game, but that's not really the players' fault. I mean, like at one point you have to break down at a certain amount of time when you're running for that much. You have to break down. So I'm not gonna blame them. Maybe you could say, oh, they should have better stamina and stuff, but still, I'm not going to blame them. Other than that, Aston Villa played brilliantly. They played really, really good. I mean, who do they have? Unai Emery, guys. They have, yet again, maybe that's why Unai Emery, they have the La Liga. He came from Villarreal last season in the winter, went to Aston Villa. He had the La Liga playstyle. Maybe that's why he passes it out wide. The dummy type things, they played kind of La Liga style as well. Like when you look at Liverpool or like when I'd say Liverpool, Chelsea, like they don't really play that style. I think Arsenal, and then maybe Aston Villa, and then like United. These three teams really played that La Liga type style, and that's probably maybe City as well. City play like tiki taka, like they pass the ball a lot, but more in a physical manner. Like they still play that like Premier League type physicality type style to them, but it's still like a pass and goal type style as well. But where it's more La Liga and technicality instead, Arsenal really shows that, and maybe you can say United as well, and then maybe now you can say Aston Villa as well. But yeah, guys, Zinchenko is from a corner, goes to the top of the box, screamer, low driven near post past Martinez, and then yeah, towards the end of the game, yet again, off of a corner, top of the box, and Jorginho finally the Jorginho curse. I think the past two games that Jorginho played for since joining Arsenal, Arsenal have not won. I think they drew both of their games. I think they lost one as well, but he broke the curse, gets Arsenal on top of the board, like gets them the winner goal, making it 3-2. Banger, beautiful goal. Top right, it literally goes top right, hits the bottom of the post, goes down, hits Martinez's head. That's why it says own goal, and then goes in the back of the net. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted for this, but Jorginho goal against. I want to show an image, not a video, because video I might get copyrighted. But if we take a look here, is there an image? Here, this one here. It's a bit blurry. Oh no, here. So here. It's off of the corner here. Pass or not a corner. No, I think they were building up. Martinelli tries to like break through this what do you call it? Break through this defense, and then he sees like, oh, I can't. He has this open gap here. Jorginho positioned well at the top of the box, no one marking him as well. And that's due to, of course, Aston Villa just broken down towards the end. So they're just playing drop back, trying to just play out the rest of the game. So, I mean, fair play to them. Before the ending here, they played really good. But yeah, pass it to the top. Screamer, top, hits the post. Yeah, as you can see, he missed, like, Emiliano Martinez. He missed initially, so even if it went in, it would have been a good goal. But then it goes down, hits Martinez, who missed it initially, hits his head, it goes in the back of the net. Does it show here? Yeah, like hits him and goes in the back of the net. That's just memes, guys. That's some like FIFA type stuff. That is EA Sports FIFA type stuff, where like it rebounds back, hits the keeper, and then goes in the back. Man, but brilliant goal. Yeah, finally, Jorginho, killer, banger, screamer goal. What a goal! And then Gabriel Martinelli. I don't quite remember that goal, but yeah, Martinelli goes and gets his goal as well. But yeah, killer for Arsenal. As I said, Aston Villa, they really did good. And then yeah, I think it was just the breakdown. They just tried to play it out for the rest of the added time, but they were just so broken down. And Jorginho, I think Arsenal, they subbed on Martinelli, like they add some more juice and stuff, and not just the juice, they are like more ballers than Aston Villa players. So they just had to ball it out. Jorginho scoring a screamer goal, and that's why they signed Jorginho from Man City. Yeah, brilliant. So as I said, it's gonna be a tough time for the top here. Arsenal, City, United. I really think that these three will stay as the top three. I hope Arsenal will win the league, but at the same time, I really have a doubt in me saying, like, I think City, maybe United. I could see United coming up to win as well if they continue. If Marcus Rashford continues to do what he does. For the fourth place team, I think United, City, and Arsenal, with the form that they have, they will continue to. Have already guaranteed their spot in the Champions League if they continue to stay in this form. For the fourth place team, for the fourth Champions League place team, I really don't see. I really have I could see Spurs bottling it. I feel like recently, After the World Cup, before the World Cup, Spurs were doing pretty good, like they usually do in the beginning of the season. But then, yeah, I think Newcastle have a chance to come up. Maybe Liverpool. Maybe Liverpool. If they win like their next games, if they win like 7 or 8 or 9 games. I mean, how many games are there left? There's 36 or 38 games. There's a good 14 games left at least, maybe 16 or 17 games left. So if Liverpool win at least 3/4 of those of whatever is left, I think they could make it to the fourth place. Same with Newcastle. I think Newcastle have to somehow, I don't know, not lose or something. But yeah, pretty good games this weekend in the Premier League. Let's end it off with Ligue 1. Paris Saint-Germain. Who do we have this weekend? We have Lille. Pretty sure we had Lille. Yeah, lost Lille. PSG versus Lille. Next week we have yet again the Le Classique, which we got smoked on in the Coupe de France. The what's it called? What do you call it? The lower tournament. Oh my, I forgot what it's called. Domestic tournament, the domestic cup of the French Ligue 1, the domestic tournament, the domestic cup, Coupe de France. They smoked us there, and yet again we have them next week as well, with a few injured, with a few key players might not being able to show up, and we'll talk about that this game. Guys, we started off. Mbappe is Neymar, who receives the ball from Verratti. Neymar doing what he always does. He quickly turns around. He sees Mbappe, who makes that beautiful run. That's what Mbappe is known for, with his speed as well. Mbappe, he goes down like Neymar. He receives the ball. He turns. He quickly turns. He sends that through ball into Mbappe. Mbappe, it's out wide here. He slows down his tempo. He waits for Jose Fonte and Diakate, whatever these two center backs are. He waits for them. And when I'm telling you, this guy literally recreated the goal that he created, the goal that he scored in the first leg of the Champions League against Real Madrid. He does a step over, he does 2 step overs and still waits before he enters. Another step over through Diakate's legs, like a nutmeg. I think it was a purposeful nutmeg as well. And then he goes through them. The jam. If you guys know FIFA, the jam, like going through players, just running players over. He gets he goes through them, and to be fair, Jose Fonte and Diakate, if they had moved, like if they had got it in front of him, it might have been a penalty and stuff. But I think the way that they positioned their legs, it was a bit too wide. Like it was clear that Mbappe had to nutmeg them, which he did. Does a step over, nutmegs him. Does a step over, which kind of messes up the two center backs, and then right after the step over with his other foot sends it through his leg. He makes the run in between, right between them, and then nutmeg through the keeper as well. Literally, this guy literally recreated the goal he created against Real Madrid. Literally, exact replica. He does like a step over through ball and like through like nutmeg, and then through both of them, through the tight space between both of the defenders, and then behind the goalkeeper. Brilliant solo goal. Like brilliant like dribble and stuff. And then as I said, a brilliant like creative play from Neymar. Brilliant creative play from Neymar to kind of to turn quickly, see that option, send that through ball. Yeah, that is what Mbappe is known for. And then in the 11th minute, Neymar, he shoots the ball, he misses, or not misses, but it rebounds to Vitinha. Vitinha misses as well. It goes back to Neymar, and then Neymar finally gets in the back of the net, making it 2-0. And then here is where Diakate. Here's where PSG just break down. Our back line was completely like nonsense. Even Kimpembe, man, he made some of the worst mistakes ever. I'm telling you, this guy, the ball's in the air. He tries to header it back to Donnarumma, but it goes back to the Lille player. Like it goes to Jonathan David, my goat, the Canadian goat. And like fortunately, like luckily that Donnarumma saved it. But knowing Donnarumma, it was a bit risky. It could have been a bit risky. It was terrible from Kimpembe, but yeah, our backline was literally non-existent today in that game. Neither was our midfielder. It's better but like I feel like it's still kind of a bit non-existent. But our backline is just totally non-existent. Um, but yeah, we get destroyed hard. I don't quite remember the first goal. The second goal was a very man. This goal here was, it was a very close call. I mean, in the first place, you can say why is Verratti kind of tugging on him, but at the second, secondly, you can also say it's a very close call. It's a very light touch on him, a light foul on him. So very like it was very unlucky, but at the same time, like Verratti, why are you doing that in the first place? You didn't really have to do that. And then yeah, Jonathan David, the Canadian R9 goes ahead, scores that goal. Jonathan Bamba gets the ball here, gets it past like top. He gets it like near post to Donnarumma, man. What? How do you not save near post goal? I guarantee if that is Courtois, I mean he saved a bunch of those against Liverpool in the final. Go back, watch the replays against Salah and stuff. But Donnarumma, man, yeah, no ways. You had to save that. If that's Courtois, I guarantee he literally some of those goals were recreated from like in the Champions League final against Liverpool last season. Salah would always get those like near post type shots, opportunities, and Courtois would always save them. But Donnarumma, man, you let Jonathan David get past, or Kimpembe, you let him get past you, Jonathan David near post, and Donnarumma can't save that for your life. But then it is Nuno Mendes who comes. It wasn't Nuno Mendes who comes up. No, it was Juan Bernat. Man, I don't know what the heck Juan Bernat is still playing at PSG for. As I said, in that game against Marseille, man, this guy had literally no reaction time. His defensive awareness is pretty bad. Attackingly, in the offense, it's not the worst. And this is where he does like a 1-2 type thing with Mbappe out wide to Juan Bernat. He makes a good run, and then Juan Bernat back to Mbappe just a great finish near post. He kind of trips while he does it, but still he gets a good finish. And then Messi, guys, who ghosted the whole game for 94 minutes, hits a screamer free kick, and that's because he's shaved. You already know shaved Messi is a different breed. But yeah, he screamer free kick, bottom right or bottom left corner of the, or bottom right corner of the box. And then yeah, beautiful goal to end it off there. PSG win. It's just the fact that we're winning 2-0. We come down 3-2, and then we just barely pulled it back. But yeah, you can tell here Mbappe. Yeah, he was feeling that free kick, man. He was feeling even Ramos, man. He's like, oh, he's like, I know who the real GOAT is now. Now that he played with Messi, I had to say that. But yeah, in that game, Neymar didn't get a little. He not a little. He got an ankle injury. Looks a bit bad as well, man. He's kind of stretched for it. It's like, man, why are you trying in games that we shouldn't even be like worrying about? We need to worry about the Champions League, man. That's more important right now. But Neymar intends to do everything possible to face Bayern Munich. The absence of the fracture on Sunday reassured him. The medical staff is now doing everything possible to reduce edema, I haven't heard this word, as quickly as possible so that they can mobilize the ankle. So very unfortunate there. And then over here, Thomas Tuchel. So there's rumors of Tuchel actually coming back. I guarantee you, if we had bottled that win, 2-0 up, we go down 3-2, and if we had not come back from that 3-2 down, like 2-0 up and then losing 3-2, I guarantee you, on spot, Galtier and Luis Campos would have been sacked, and we would have, like, I don't know, Tuchel would have came in the middle of the season. But I guarantee you right now that I don't know, it's looking dangerous for Galtier, man. Really looking dangerous for Galtier. But yeah, Thomas Tuchel would need assurances that the club would be willing to protect him against player power, and that's honestly how he got sacked in the first place. But back in 2019, I feel like, and not really how he got sacked in the first place, but I mean even even in nowadays in the current PSG PSG locker room, like the players and stuff have so much power. You already know Mbappe has like all the power in the world. You have Neymar, you have Messi as well. Messi, and yes, he listens to the manager, but at the same time, man, Messi does his own stuff sometimes. So yeah, I think Tuchel, man, Yeah, we need Tuchel, man. We need his tactics. I feel his tactics were honestly the best. We need Marquinhos at CDM, like run him back. Yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be involved too much in the transfer market. Like I feel like before he was being like he was the one who had to go do the transfer stuff. He just wants to be the guy who sets the tactics, tell the players how to play, um, and win the games for us. He doesn't really want to do anything in the transfer other than to like, say like, oh, he says the board, oh, can we sign this player? Can we sign this player? And then the board wants to. He says that, oh, the board should do most of the transfer stuff, the payment. They should worry about that more. He just says which player he wants, and then the board will do the rest of the work. But yeah, pretty good games. We talked about the Champions League as well. The next episode will probably be on Thursday or Friday. We're gonna bring on Gareth, my cousin, onto the channel. Kian, onto the channel to talk about the first leg of the Champions League round of 16, and then make some predictions for the second leg. But yeah, for now, stay happy, stay positive, stay flow, and I'll see you later. Peace.